Hi, welcome to the Digital Discovery Show. I'm Liz Ward, one of the co-founders of Navii and Tourism Tribe as well. This show today is very focused on small business and in a really interesting sector. And I know that you're going to enjoy hearing from our special guest today, Rob McVie. Remember, this is your show where we bring to you real people running real businesses who are dealing with the same challenges you are in terms of grappling with constantly changing technology and making the most of it. And we want to hear from you. So please ask any questions that you have of our guest today and tell us about what you're doing throughout this interview, because we would love for you to share your thoughts with the rest of the audience. So in true digital discovery style, we're going to learn about somebody who's in a really interesting area of business and certainly a growth area at the present time. And this gentleman, Rob McVie, he's the co-owner of Earth Moving Attachments Australia, which is a company with the belief of doing everything in their power to make things quick and simple for their clients. Don't you love that? They're very clear and focused. Problems will always arise no matter what machine you have, Rob tells us. And so customers choose his business, Earth Moving Attachments Australia, because the team and Rob not only believe they can solve the issue rapidly, they also have the service and technical support to back that belief up. And I know, speaking from real customers of Rob's, they said they've never experienced customer service like it, and engagement with them as really important people and people that Rob and his team really value. His company is an Australian-owned company with 6 branches from New South Wales, Queensland and the ACT. Rob has seen exponential growth in his business by continually improving internal systems, technology, and consistently activating his social media channels and getting great content up there and those content marketing efforts. So he was the perfect man when we discovered him to interview in one of these digital discovery shows to share some of his tips and his experience. And I'm sure that he's got some bruises to share with us as well about how he's gotten to where he has. So Rob, please join us on the virtual couch for a chat.
Good morning, Liz. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, because it sounds like you are running a very busy and successful business. And so obviously you've got great energy, and very generous of you to spend a bit of time with us and our audience to be able to share what you're doing. Now, I've been able to sort of pluck out pieces about your bio and tell people just a little bit, but I really don't know much about you and your background. And
Yep.
I would love it if you'd share your story about what you do, how you've gotten there, how did the business start. That'd be fantastic.
Okay. So Earth Moving Attachments Australia, I was in the construction industry for about 10 years before this happened. A couple of guys that have been in it for quite a long time approached me to there was a gap in the market we found, and it was with more so that smaller attachment niche market that you can support any customer and any machine. And they just weren't finding it out there. So the three of us came up with the idea of starting our own attachment business. So that was sort of June 2016. And then we launched August 2016 with one branch in Queensland with just one employee, myself, and the guys in the background doing their own thing from day one. And we're really focused on giving customers the support and service that they weren't receiving with good product. And obviously being able to, I suppose, help them grow their businesses. Because for us, if we have a good customers that can grow their business, that will hopefully come back and obviously support ourselves.
Thanks for that, Rob. So if I was to buy something off you, what is an example of that, just so that I get a feel for what it is you actually sell? Because I haven't really been in the earth moving business. So.
That's okay. That's okay. No. So we do a multiple of products. So we've tried to keep it really to sort of 7 core products to start with when we first started, because we didn't want to do everything and not be very good at it. We wanted to focus on core products that everybody uses, and in that way then too, we know the best outcomes for them. So we sell what's called a rock breaker, which breaks up concrete, breaks up obviously good for demolition. We do augers and auger drives, and what they're used for is a lot of fencing contractors use those, builders, plumbers, so a broad range of other industry, not just construction, that we can tap into. So we've partnered with some really good other businesses, Australian-owned businesses that gave us the opportunity to be able to go to business with them because we were new and sort of wanting to have a crack at it. And again, with us, it was just that day to day of reaching our first customer, and that was a pretty special moment for me. And from there, building that customer base.
So I'd imagine it's a very competitive space. You have a lot of
Yeah, it is. It is. There's a lot of players in the market. More so the last probably 2 years. There's been a lot more. So people saw what we were doing and sort of wanted to piggyback off of that and sort of do something similar. So we just try to really keep it genuine and support, and we do a lot of after hours and a lot of around our customers. That's our main focus. So
sounds like focus is a word that you use a lot, which is very powerful. What would you say were some of the challenges at the beginning in starting this business?
Just the brand recognition, really. So we were a new business and getting it out there. People didn't know us. They'd always dealt with people they'd dealt with previously and had not the best experiences, but still went back there. So it was more so just doing those, instead of just drop shipping it, doing the face-to-face deliveries, taking the product out, helping them set it up, doing it when they were available. So it was a lot of graft that first 12 months or so. With then you just build your base from there, and challenges were obviously building a customer base and a whole new brand.
So how did you get your first customer?
From just jumping on Google in Brisbane and Googling earth moving and just ringing every person on those pages, and introducing myself. A lot of rejection. Which builds character and thick skin. And the consistency of just following through, and guys, when you did the quote to them, following them up. If they didn't want anything, no problems, but just always being in their mind space of when they were looking to buy something, essentially.
So you entered this business with a fair amount of awareness of the importance of search engines and other digital platforms, it sounds like. So where did you get that from? Where did you get that awareness from?
My business partners, that's their sort of strength within our business. So they're very strong in that sort of media space. So I took a lot from those guys. So we all had our own key skills, I suppose, and we sort of implemented them all into the business to try to make it successful. So I learned a lot from those guys, and also too the main focus being with obviously that social media side. It wasn't as big. It's only 4 years ago now, 4.5 years ago, but it's in that time it's moved so fast, up to obviously where we are today.
And that's the power of teamwork, isn't it? I know.
Definitely.
Having a business partner and not flying completely solo certainly has its benefits, doesn't it? When you have different.
Yeah, it does. Oh, very much so. You've got someone there to lean on, obviously, in those periods when you think you're doing it right and nothing's happening, and then all of a sudden it just can turn, and then you can see the reward. You can bounce ideas off them too, good and bad. And I have bought products over the years when I've gone, I bought something and I shouldn't have bought that. It's when it costs you money, you learn a lot quicker.
That's very well. That's doesn't it? It's like when we're a small business and you have to generate your and any staff's next pay packets.
Yeah.
Every purchase you make or every investment you make in online advertising or whatever it is you're doing, you really want to see a return on that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like reputation. You've built your brand based on reputation. Would you say is that how it flowed after that first customer?
Yeah.
How did you get your next customers?
Again, we're a very strong referral-based business. So what that means for us is obviously in each state, and surprisingly from Brisbane and Sydney and those large capitals, the construction industry is quite small. So we've really worked off of servicing our customers right, and from that, getting referrals. And from referrals, I will have people ring me from all over the country going, hey, I've had so and so deal with you. They've had a good experience. Can you please send me a quote? And then it's just doing the right thing from there and being able to support and say you're going to do what you're going to do. And obviously, yeah, it's a roll on effect when it comes to obviously with customers, and I suppose, yeah, supporting them is the main thing.
Yeah, that's another area of focus for you, isn't it? And I'm interested in the fact that you're a B2B business as opposed to business to consumer.
Yeah.
And some business to business businesses don't understand how they can best use social media. They're like, oh, I don't get it. Why would I use Facebook if
Yep.
I'm a business to business? Whereas you've leapt in there reasonably early, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got in from day one. So we set up our Facebook, we set up our Instagram, LinkedIn. Obviously, is a little bit more professional. For us, it's connecting up with that customer if they're a small customer like we are, or at the time a small business. Being able to obviously connect them with Facebook and Instagram, and we obviously link up with that online, and yeah, it's a powerful thing. The content's a powerful thing, and if you can consistently give content, it's people will start following, and then that's when the sort of free advertising is the best advertising. So if you haven't got to pay for it, you use those tools to your advantage, I think, and we've really focused on those areas. We're fortunate enough now to have two full-time marketing within the one in Queensland, one in New South Wales, that can obviously help us with our content and how we upload it and what we do with it. But
Mm,
that's taken us 4 years to get that. So for the first
true.
3 years, it was just we were doing it ourselves and uploading it ourselves, and that takes time, and that takes, yeah, consistency is the big key with that sort of connecting your customer to that too, so then they can like it and they link it to somebody else, and that's how your referrals begin, I suppose. So
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about this and the journey that you've been on. But what would you say are your go-to digital tools? What would be the main ones that you are relying on?
we're very much an Instagram, Facebook. We now obviously we invest in Google AdWords. That's a very strong one for us too. Which obviously we've got keywords that we use in the industry, and people sort of bounce off that. So when they type in certain things, we sort of come up to the top of the list now. And we found with clicks online that sort of those first 2 to 3 people at the top of the page are the ones that generally get calls. And then once you get those calls, it's up to you to capitalize on that and support the customer and do the right thing. If you miss those, you kind of you will miss the sale, and you will miss the deal. So with us, yeah, Google AdWords definitely is a really strong one, and partnering up with the right media outlet too, so that you can actually get that good support from internally, that they can give you feedback on what people are linking on your website, so what they're clicking on, what your best selling products are, and obviously knowing that too, that what your best margin products are also.
Did you go through any pain points, do you think, on this digital journey? You know, what has that looked like? Because you're interesting, you talk about your media outlet, your supplier there who's
Yep.
managing those ad campaigns for you.
Yes.
I can't tell you the number of times we have helped clients who feel like they're really in a jam because they're either paying for search engine marketing or search engine optimization, or they don't have, they don't know what they're paying for, or
Yes.
they feel like they're stuck in a contract they can't get out of, or
And
they're,
we have been down that road too,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So
Been
maybe
through it.
take us back a bit when you started to really invest in digital. What did that journey look like?
Yeah, so we made a decision that obviously we were getting the content through the free advertising. We partnered up with a marketing digital company at the time, and they said to us that they would be able to get us X amount per lead and per dollar spend, and we sort of spent 12 months on that journey with them, and we weren't getting out of what we needed. I think more so because they didn't know our industry, and didn't really know what we'd explain it to them and what we were about. So we decided to end that relationship, and we've moved on to some other guys now, which are really fantastic. We've merged a couple of websites together. So the biggest thing for us was getting our websites talk and obviously see what we get out of that, and see what people are clicking on. So then we knew what we would be able to spend our dollar on. So, because if you don't know what people are looking at, you don't know where to put your money.
Absolutely. And that's that knowing where to invest, what your investment is getting back to you. And we're working in, it's referred to as this data-driven marketing environment now. And I think we think about big data a lot of the time, whereas small businesses, they've got all this free data that they can access, like
Yeah.
the data on your website about what people are clicking on. So it sounds to me like you maybe were starting to move towards like a customer relationship management system.
Yeah,
Have you done that? Has
yeah,
that been part of the
yeah,
journey?
yeah. So we ran for the first sort of 2.5 years. We ran a system called Salesforce, which connected up with Xero. Salesforce was fantastic for CRM, but for us as a business, we weren't getting the reporting out of it that we needed. More so for sort of replacement of stock, or we want to do 4 stock turns a year, and knowing on times to buy stock. We just weren't getting that out of it. So we made the decision to go to, I suppose it's a larger platform style, but it works with us having multi branches, which is called Iralink and through Pentana Solution. So it's a really basic old school system, but it gives us all the reporting we need. So from the back end for our accounting all the way through to obviously our stock holdings, knowing what stock holdings to hold, and then that bounces off another system called Dealer Socket. And Dealer Socket is a CRM system. So with it, it's really tough. We log every call, every conversation. It takes up time, but it's so worth it. More so because it prompts us, so we can put it in a conversation or a quote, and it'll prompt us within a day or two, whenever we choose to log it, to get that pop up to follow up. So, and things don't get lost in the background. So that over the it's taken us 12 months to work it out, how to really get everything out of it we need, and we're still learning every day on it. But so far, so good with it. For us, that's really helped our business in the last 12 months, and the last 6 months especially, with the exponential growth we've had within Earth Moving Attachments Australia.
So it sounds like with this set of tools, you are able to really measure what's working for you in terms
Yes.
of what they see on the website. You then activate sales calls, do you? Or do you have email marketing automation running
We
as
have
well?
we have both. So we'll run targeted, I suppose, target market products, and what at the time we want to push to market, and what we feel is what is the right solution for other businesses in our industry. So we do every week we'll run through our database email advert or an email link to what we've got going on. We're really strong on our content, so we always load up every delivery and every, I suppose, sort of when we touch customers, so they can see it too, and they like it because it's different. Doesn't happen in our industry as much, so they like that personal connection. Dealer Socket, certainly when we run quotes, it can obviously prompts us to call them within the time period that we requested. So we can measure on our quoting how many quotes we've done, what the outcomes were, what follow-ups need to be done. If it's been a successful sale, from that then it goes into the warranty period, so when it needs to be serviced, which is a call to them to say, hey, look, your rock brake or your auger's due for a service. Do you want to drop it in, or we'll come collect it, whatever you need. So still a personal touch, which is great. And then from there, you'll find they haven't spoken to you for 3 months. They'll go, oh, hey, can you quote me this? So it's just always being that constant, not badgering, but always there as a supportive ear that, hey, we're here to help you, and we've got something here for you. So that system really, the Pentana system and Dealer Socket really helps us with that.
So you're nurturing people continually. Absolutely,
Yes.
continually. I love that. And why would they not say, sure, come and service this, or I'll drop it in to be serviced? Because you've just taken a problem away from them because you've thought about it for them.
Yeah, we've got that.
I'll give you an example back again. I was just telling Despina on our team yesterday, that I was really pleased because every year I get a text message from my oven cleaning service
Yeah.
to, hey, your oven is due for a clean.
Yeah.
Just respond to this text message. We'll call you and make a time. I mean, how is that? And this is similar to what you're doing. You've got it in a calendar sequence. It's automated. Your team doesn't have to think about it. It happens, and you get another sale. So
it is. Yeah, exactly. And if you don't get a sale that time, no problems. It's not always about the sale. Every conversation that we have with customers is not always about the sale, and that's something that we've really got across. And that's why our customers do come back, because they don't see us ring them and go, oh, what are these? These guys are going to sell me something. It's building that relationship. It's a personal relationship we build with them. And it might just be that we ring them and say, g'day, how you going? How's business? How's things? How the wife and kids, and whatever it may be. And then they go away from that. So when they are needing something, they do think of us. It's not just another sales guy ringing them trying to sell them something. So that's our sort of, I suppose, philosophy.
Yeah. So these tools that you have hooked together and using in your business, they're like mission critical software tools that your entire team rely on, and you must just get sick of saying, put the data in the system. So if there's anything about that customer.
If the data's not in, the software is useless. So it's taking every day, and if it takes a bit longer every day to do it, for us, we sit there, we log it, because we know down the track we're going to get a result out of it. It might not be tomorrow or the next day, but it will be a result. So
yeah. This is really interesting because on the surface of this, you are an earth-moving accessory or addition equipment business. At the heart of it, you are actually a marketing company. That does very personalised marketing and really values your customer. So you're actually a very people-focused business and marketing business. But what you happen to sell, and the problem that you happen to solve for people, is very niche, and it's about bits of metal and things that turn. And
it is. We're a solution-solving business, and in our industry, there are a lot of pain points in that. So we try to make it as simple for the customer as possible, for them to have zero to minimal pain points with us versus the competition.
Amazing. Very good. Did you go to Harvard and do a Masters of Marketing, Rob?
No, certainly did not. I learned on the job, and I think the biggest thing is employing people that are good at what they do. So if you can do it, find the people that are good in those sorts of areas and employ them. So I certainly am not one of those people. I'm a people person. I enjoy what I do and what we sell and the team. But I think having the right people in the right areas is the biggest thing. So I wouldn't put my accountant in a sales role, and vice versa.
Let's have a chat about the challenges of going digital in a digital marketing. You mentioned, you're very strong on content and stories about your customers. You also mentioned before about the challenge of consistency. I think that whatever business type you are, our audience who's listening to this, and please, audience members, please comment and tell us where you are with this. But regardless of your business type, understanding about how a small business is getting that consistency and getting good engagement on social media is a really great thing to share. And it is always a little bit different according to what it is you do. But could you tell us about that, please? Because I think that would be really valuable for people.
Yeah, so like with our digital obviously content is key. We do a number of different things. So we'll do a personalized video to every customer we do a quote to. We run that through a system called See It Now. So the client will call, we'll do a quote, then we'll actually send them a personalized video link to their phone number, where they open that, they can see the product on the shelf or in the store, or so they can see what they're buying versus looking on a website. So that personal touch is big. The consistency of content every day we're uploading. We run a couple of different things. We do a 60 seconds at EAA, which is it's actually not about our business, it's about their business. So we'll take the time to go out and see our clients and actually have a chat about what they do. So yeah, it's regarding Instagram and Facebook, it's everyday uploading something different. Not just the same video of an item coming off the back of a truck, a video of it actually working. So clients have the confidence to go and buy that product off you without when they haven't before. So they can see that, okay, these guys have got it. They've got it working. It's on the machine. This is what it's doing. They know what they're doing. They know it suits their machine. So we try to get content because we've got a great opportunity that we don't just sell machinery equipment. We sell the bits that go on the machinery. You can go across every brand of machinery. So if someone sees it on a case construction machine, they can say, well, okay, well, I've got one of those. They put that on it. Yes, it's doing what it should be doing. We will build that trust, and they'll buy it from you.
So there doesn't sound like there's a lot of social media content going up about the business. It sounds like it's more about the customers and what they're using.
Yes.
And the seeing the products in action, and your use of video sounds quite prolific as well, which we know is absolutely key in terms of greater levels of engagement than still images. And I guess you've got things that move too, so people need to see them.
They want to see it. Short increments of video. We obviously do still content with photos too, but definitely that video content and making it long enough but short enough that they want to watch the whole thing and not move to the next thing on their page. So
some of the good case studies around small businesses and how they have achieved consistency and daily posting on social media and good engagement. I have seen that what they've done is they've empowered members of their team to capture content and to post as well. So it's not just left to one person. Has that been a strategy for you?
Yeah, so we have obviously our own marketing people now, which we're fortunate to have, which upload our content. But obviously, personally, every staff member shares everything on there, which then gets out of the platform into their space and who they connect up with too, which are people that we may not. There's also a number of, I suppose, on the web, on our website, but on socials as such, on Facebook, pages that we obviously connect up with too and follow, and we put our product on there too, and that's getting out to thousands upon thousands of people, and all you need is one or two, and you get your sale out of it. So all the team every day, when they do a delivery, we always do a video, we always do a see it now to the customer on quoting, and we always upload all those across all our socials, so our own personal plus our own staff.
You are doing so many of the things that other businesses wish that they had committed to or have the time to do. So obviously you've proven it works and you've bitten the bullet and you're being consistent with it. Have there been some particular challenges in achieving that consistency?
Oh, definitely. Every day when you've got it loaded up and you've got to spend the time to do it. It's the time to upload it, which is the biggest thing. Or when you're on site with the customer and they don't want to be involved in it because they've never seen anyone come up and say to them, "Hey, I want to do a video with you." They're very sometimes standoffish, and you've got to have a laugh about it. And the amount of comments I get from my mates and stuff about it, it's they grill me a little bit on it. But at the end of the day, it's creating awareness of our business and awareness of what we do and the solutions that we find, and the clients do warm to it eventually. So, and they like it. They get a kick out of it too. So when their wife sees a little photo or video of them online, and they're like, "Oh, we're on there now." So, or the clients will ring us and say to us, "Make sure you're coming to do a video when you drop it off," because they want to be a part of it now. So it's building that consistent relationship and consistent culture of the content. That's the hardest thing. It's easy to just go drop it off and go home or go back to the office, but to spend the time with them, they appreciate it if they've got it, and every day getting that consistent content through.
That is just fantastic. You're doing what we advise in our workshops to businesses, and that is you're taking a collaborative leadership role on in your industry in social media. So what you're doing is you're actually teaching your clients who are businesses in a related industry to you about social media. You are also collaborating by following their pages or their Instagram accounts and supporting what they do, and then educating them somewhat so that they then will do the same back to you and pick up and share your content and vice versa. Because it's one of the great things about business to business business models for social media, isn't it? It's that the fact that you can support each other on social media. So you're doing so many things that are just, really great exemplar activities for other businesses, Rob. So congratulations. It's just amazing to hear that.
And I know
that, well, you do, don't you? It's never finished. It's never done. And there's new opportunities all the time. And Facebook and Instagram keep changing. Their algorithm keeps changing. And
it's always evolving. So if you the thing is, you've got to keep going with it. If you don't keep going with it, you get left behind.
Mm-hmm. Would that be one of your, if I was to say to you, what would be your sort of key tips of advice to other business people listening to this? What would they do?
Definitely. Probably if you think it's, you've got to keep going, and you've got to keep striving every day to get up every day and do your best and support your customer and do all those things, because if the quiet periods will turn, and if people believe that you're genuine, you're there to support them, which we are as a business at EAA, you will get the reward. So it's consistency of social media, consistency of support to customer. Business is very simple. Do what you say you're going to do, and do it, and then people will pass that on to other people, and then phones will start ringing. We feel it's a very simple methodology.
Rob, I think I have been inspired by you, and I've also learned things about how you apply these techniques that typically would see are quite active in a B2C model and in more retail kind of environments. But you've certainly you've carved out how to use these tools and social media and content practices, data-driven marketing, really strong focus in your business, not trying to go too broad, but going deep. Automation. Like you are ticking so many boxes, not trying to be an expert at everything, but actually hiring people who can be the arms and legs of your social media now and, teach you things as well, and engaging your customers in the stories, because behind every piece of equipment is a person and there's a story in there. So, you really are a shining light, I think, for a lot of small businesses, and particularly in the construction space. So I would really like to thank you for sharing all of those great tips and what you're doing. We really appreciate it and appreciate your time. Where can people connect with you if they wanted to have a chat with you? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, probably the best way is to connect through our website. So www.eeaustralia.net.au. Obviously, our other one is obviously just Facebook. On Instagram, you can find us on Earth Moving Attachments Australia. You can find us on Instagram too, and on Facebook. Any questions, happy to answer them. Anyone wants to connect up, happy to also. It's a small world out there, but we're obviously, the world's small, so it's connecting with people everywhere. So,
Rob McVie, thank you so much for your time and for sharing all of this such valuable information. And best of luck with your business. I hope it continues to thrive. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks, Liz. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.